Hey everybody, it's Corbett and Grace from the Proof is Possible tour.
And the tour is over.
Woo! We made it. We are all still alive.
Yeah.
We're all still healthy. Our house is still super beautiful and it still works perfectly, which is what we wanted.
Yeah.
And we wanted to share with you some of the lessons learned that we had and also some of our favorite and least favorite moments from the tour. So we're just going to kind of have a quick conversation. Nanette is turning 1 on Sunday and she's just going to be hanging out and like doing stuff.
So you might hear some baby noises, but we'll keep her off the screen
As long
because
as she doesn't mess with
it's
our
easier that way.
One thing that we just wanted to explain to everybody is that about 7,000 people came in and out of our house in the last 10 months.
It's a big number.
Exactly. It was a lot of people. And a lot of people held her. Our cats were very patient the whole time, also still alive, also well. And we had 1,500 people come through the workshops.
Apparently she wants to outshine us.
We went through 26 states, visited 34 cities, and did events in all of those places. Some of them were a week, some of them were only 1 day. I know, it was really exciting. We worked with realtor groups and with home builders associations and with performance contractors all over the place. Also manufacturers, some of our product partners came on as city sponsors and brought us out to their locations, which was really cool.
For fun bonus days.
And so some of our favorite questions that we got, real quick, just to explain to you what our life has been like over the last 10 months. We really like it when we get new questions because generally it's like, why did you decide to put your bed down on the floor? That's the main question that everybody wants to know. Ooh.
Right,
So,
and it's because of the TV shows, and we get that. That's okay, that's totally
cool.
fine.
But new questions are really exciting. And so one of my favorite new questions was, it was about 3/4 of the way through the tour. We were in Alabama, and this guy said, so what are you gonna do when a rat chews its way up through your mechanical shed and then starts messing around with your electrical wiring?
And I loved that question because I immediately thought, oh, Corbett, that's happened to him. This is why he's asking the question, because it's happened.
Yeah, but
Hi.
I mean, the answer to the question is, I don't know, what would you do if that happened? And that's kind of all the questions we got was like, what happens when your daughter grows up? And it's like, I don't know, what happens when your daughter grows up? I mean, that you deal with it, really.
So one of my favorite responses when people said, what are you gonna do when your daughter gets older? I'd go, you mean romantically? It's perfect, it's Valentine's Day right now.
Hey, come on now. There are microphones on in this video.
So one of the hardest things, which everybody was like, oh my gosh, how are you gonna be able to do it? Was having a baby. Everybody said, how can you have a baby and then go on the road? I know, and do all these things. And frankly, she was pretty easy. She was the easiest part of the trip until about the last month when Miss Lady Friend decided to get up on her feet and become much more mobile, as you can see, and start to steal the show.
She's a little bit high maintenance now. You have to chase her around. But it's like, we're really grateful to the universe that we were given a beautiful and charming baby and not an obnoxious, ugly baby.
No, all babies are beautiful.
It's true, but that's not true. One of our least favorite things that happened on the tour were all of the little tiny unexpected surprises that come from torturing your house. So essentially we put this house, you probably heard me say this, through an earthquake and a hurricane at the same time every week of its life for the last 10 weeks and now, or 10 months, excuse me. And it was built to do that, which is important because you want to know what your house is going to be expected to do and then build it that way. But we had all kinds of things happen with from an electrical fire underneath the trailer that we had to put out. By the way, if you've never used a fire extinguisher, that's the powder kind, close your mouth.
Close your mouth.
Do it.
Close your mouth, because your crab cakes are going to taste really bad later.
Yeah. We had a flood, which you probably saw the video of.
Yeah.
We have had ant infestation. We had plague. All of us got sick at one point or another. Not all at the same time,
No,
interestingly. Even
thank
though it was
goodness.
a tiny house, everybody would think that, oh, everybody gets
Everybody's
sick at the
going to
same
go down.
time. And interestingly, like right now, we're actually parked. We are sitting on the exact spot where we first learned to build tiny houses. We're at the Tiny Home Builders Tiny Home Incubator outside of Atlanta. We've realized that people don't have manners, like old-fashioned manners, knock before you enter kind of thing.
Knock before you enter. It seems like a really simple thing. You know, I'll say this to other couples out there, people who are thinking about getting a tiny house and hitting the road, reach out to us. don't don't be afraid to ask stupid questions. We've done this now. We went to 26 states, 15,000 miles with a baby. We did not give ourselves enough time off, honestly. We worked pretty much nonstop from the beginning of this crowdsourcing tour, through construction, through having a baby, hitting the road, and that was hard. That was the hardest thing. I remember looking back at the calendar, because I'm the one who built the schedule once all the cities came on board, and I thought, wow, we can do this one city on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off. We'll take 2 weeks
Plenty
when
of
we
time.
really need to like go all the way across Texas, or long distance stretches, and we only took 2-week sections. So most of the time we were 1 week on and 1 week off. And what you forget about is just how much physical exertion there is involved with moving the house, with putting it up on its jacks, stopping in one place, then going to the next place, sleeping overnight at a rest stop and not really getting any rest, because it's just, it's taxing. It's taxing. So I think definitely reach out and ask questions. You're still gonna make a ton of mistakes, and you're still gonna have tons of video footage to like share with people. So don't be like, oh, I wanna keep the purity of it. Like, that's kind of a stupid artist thing to say. And we can say that because we're artists.
But one really interesting thing, we've had clients, because we do performance consulting, obviously, on big homes. But as far as tiny homes go, the thing that we've come up against so many times in our classes, which we teach about tiny home engineering and the kind of performance side of things, is that people who are building tiny houses are a lot more likely to be environmentally sensitive. And this is something that we've heard again and again. I want to build a tiny house that's all for me because I have environmental sensitivities. And one of the things that we have realized very recently, because of what you will see in the future videos, is EMF, electromagnetic fields, which is very misunderstood, lots of misinformation out there. If you go online and search EMF, is it going to kill my baby?
Yes,
you're going to find
the answer
all of the
is
most
like
insane people in the world.
Well, and it's a valid fear, but really fears are only real when
They're
the
validated.
evidence is validated. And so we have been learning more about it. We've discovered so much. And one of the things about tiny houses is you bring everything in your environment closer to you.
So they're in a tiny house. It is almost impossible to escape this EMF, these magnetic fields that some people think are causing them harm. Most people don't have any idea what they're doing, but they certainly are doing something. It's a physical reality that is actually creating this field. So I started measuring around our house, and I realized, like, whoa, this is a whole aspect of performance that we didn't
even
design
think
for.
about. Yeah.
And now that we're starting to think about it, I'm realizing that tiny houses are actually not the answer. If you have an EMF sensitivity or some kind of a chemical or a environmental sensitivity, very closely consider that, because that's something that they don't talk about a lot. And we're just finding it out, and we're the people who specialize in this measuring
Invisible.
of invisible forces. So the truck thing, take your truck really seriously.
Take your
Don't-
truck seriously.
Don't skimp on that. We were
We
given good
often
advice.
said, thank you, truck.
Yep.
Thank you, truck.
It's great.
Yeah, like when you came over a hill
Or
and
the
you're
Rocky
following the truck route, and all of a sudden the road goes from pavement to gravel and like massive potholes in 2 seconds. Ugh, take your
Yes.
truck seriously.
We only had one close call with the whole rig as far as traffic went. We almost killed some people when they pulled out in front of us really slowly as
Really slowly.
we were going through this light. That was in Chicago, so thanks, hometown.
I think my favorite thing was how much my mind expanded. I literally, this was an election year, and we frankly were not surprised by the election because we got to see so much of the country. And it's very easy to live in our own little bubbles. And I was really grateful for the opportunity to meet so many people who were doing different professions, who weren't just involved in the film industry, who weren't just actors, which was my life very much in Chicago. And it just really helped me open my mind and realize the importance of all of these other professions. It's so easy to think that what you do is so important and so special. And, I still think acting is important and special, and I still think that what Corbett does in testing and doing the tour and this media outreach that we've had with you guys is all super important.
All kinds of different little side things that we figured out, like Nebraska's awesome.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Utah
Americana,
is amazing.
learning about our history.
Yeah. So it was a lot of putting to bed fears that people had. Your house is going to crash. You're not going to get over the Rocky Mountains. You can't build a house for the first time and have it actually work.
You can't have a
You're
baby in a
depending on
house.
all these people who are going to partner with you, et cetera,
How are
et
you going to
cetera.
be able to eat? There's no money out there.
We didn't have a pediatrician on the road. We
Eh.
didn't need to go to the doctor, really, except
Yeah.
for one time we went to the med clinic. So it's all these things that people just say, oh, this is a real big worry. And it's a very interesting moment in time where we have these fears that some of them are founded in valid science, and some of them are not founded in any science at all, or
But
that you think they're founded.
Yeah, because they're being shouted and touted from the Google towers, right? So yeah, it's a really interesting thing. Oh, one of the things that I found fascinating is that people's attention span has diminished. In fact, if you're still watching, you are awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's hard to get people to communicate, to talk, to like something other than Kim Kardashian's butt or whatever. And
And not reading instructions isn't also a very American thing right now. I
Not
don't know whether it's
reading.
international or not, but yeah, if you are the kind of person who can read instructions and follow the instructions, who
Even
pays
in an
attention
email.
for a long period of time, yeah, those are special people, and we've been all over the country, and there's not very many of them. So if you're one of those people, know that you're special.
yeah, I mean, we were
Welcome
really
to the club.
fortunate to work with a lot of them, but it was also surprising to me just how fast people are moving and that we aren't really taking the time to pay attention to what other people are doing or asking of us sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks very much for tuning in for this whole journey.
Yeah.
We hope that you keep in touch. We hope that you stay tuned for the future classes that we'll have online, for the webinars, and for the television show that's coming up. And
Totally.
also, if you're in Atlanta, at some point, if you'd like to stay in the Tiny Lab, it will become a place to visit. So
Yay.
it'll either be on Airbnb or whatever they have in the future down the line.
You can
once
come
we
try a
build our slightly bigger
composting
house.
toilet out yourself.
Exactly. Yeah,
Ooh.
so stay tuned for all that stuff. If you're on our email list already, you're in the good to go zone. If you're not on the email list, you can sign up for that on the front page of our website, which is
Yeah.
buildingperformanceworkshop.com.
Or subscribe to this video channel. You know, it's something that people forget to do, but when you do it, you'll get a little email. You'll know when the video update comes out, and we'll keep you posted this way.
Awesome. So thanks very much for watching.
Bye.